This story sucks to cover because it revolves around a YouTuber that I've been a fan of for years, and that being Friendlyjordies. Friendlyjordies is an Australian YouTuber who half a decade ago made a bunch of videos mocking the culture of Australia. Pretty much how you think an Australian acts, he would perpetuate that. Like, for example, day drinking and speaking complete gibberish. Two of his favorite videos that I just love to bits. One where he pretends to be a degenerate family going through a McDonald's drive-thru making an order and just arguing with everyone. And then the other video is someone that is caught speeding under the influence.
Here we go. Why is your car smashed up in the middle of the highway, mate?
It's not.
Well, I'm sorry to say, it is, and you are holding up a fair bit of traffic.
Yeah, because you're talking to me, mate. I can't go from having a chat. You blokes always going off at us for bloody answering their text messages. That's what you're bloody doing to me.
No, your car is incapable of moving, mate. That's why we're currently having this conversation.
Well, if it's incapable of moving, if you're so concerned with other people's days, why don't you help me move me car instead of, talking me ear off?
I've been to Australia multiple times. I've been on the Cold Ones podcast with Anything for Views and Max Mofo. I can safely say every Australian is like this. Much like how New Zealanders at school growing up were taught the letter U and nothing else, so they had to base their entire vocabulary off a single letter. Fish and chips. I got my fish and chips, bro. Now, even though he did those skit videos, Friendlyjordies more recently has been known for criticising the Australian government. Most notably, John Barilaro, who at the time was the Deputy Premier of New South Wales. Now, Friendlyjordies made multiple videos on this guy, being incredibly critical of him. For example, talking about how he handled bushfires poorly. It is a deep rabbit hole, but basically, long story short, John wasn't too happy he was being talked smack to online and decided to sue Friendlyjordies, with one of his lawyers saying, the applicant has been greatly injured in his personal and professional reputation and has been and will be brought into public disrepute, odium, ridicule, and contempt. One of the lawyers got a thesaurus for Christmas, if you couldn't tell.
Oh, look, it's that guy you watch on the internet. Come on in, Terwilliger. Gather round. Oh, he's very racist, isn't he?
So that was all news to me. And if I were a more cynical man, as we all know, I'm an extremely upbeat person, I would assume that that was a tactic to try and set the narrative before this train goes in motion.
Now, Friendlyjordies followed up immediately that he was being sued, and the best thing is, he didn't even know he was being sued until the papers started talking about it. Now, at this point, most YouTubers, knowing that they're actually getting in trouble with the law, they would cut it. They would stop, they would kneel, they would apologize, delete all the content. Friendlyjordies didn't. He's two things that make him very dangerous. He's a troll, and he's an Australian. That is the most dangerous combination you can have on the planet. So he made this entire video trolling people that were meant to give him the court documents in hand. I think one of the people that came over, he just pretended to be like an Italian grandfather or something, just like not knowing who he was with his hands shaking.
I'm trying to see Jordan.
Jordan!
You're Jordan? Oh, okay.
I know Jordan!
Yeah.
This is the house owner.
Pardon?
House owner. My name, Mr. No Police.
Yeah, there.
This is not Jordan. Jordan live here,
Okay.
but he not here. Can you just excuse me? Come back. You seem like a nice man. I have some lemons for you.
And then eventually, when he went to get the court documents in person, in hand at the offices, he had like a fake prosthetic hand. So when he was handed the court documents, the hand would just fall off.
Oh, you're a big man, Paul. Thanks so much.
I serve you here with the originating application, the statement of claim and getting steps.
Oh, thanks so much. And oh no, Paul, can you call an ambulance for me? Oh, my hand. You can't just leave me like this. Have you no heart?
Now, this escalated and it got even worse because one of Friendlyjordies' employees got arrested by the Counter-Terrorism and Special Tactics Command Fixated Persons Unit. Words on a screen! Imagine associating counter-terrorism with an internet troll. Now, apparently Friendlyjordies' employee was arrested for stalking and intimidation on 2 different counts, when in reality, the guy was coming back from uni, he saw John Barilaro, and then tried to hand him the court documents, which apparently had the wrong home address on them.
Hey, John. Hey, John. I've got something for you. John, I've got a lawsuit. You're suing my boss. John. John.
Now, this case is very messy and happened over a year ago, but 5 months ago there was a conclusion, and Google actually got involved in the lawsuit, with them having to pay $715,000 to John Barilaro for defamation. And what John did was use 2 Friendly Jordy videos as an example in the lawsuit.
Now, these videos also made reference to John Barilaro in some pretty derogatory terms, and they mocked his Italian heritage in a lot of ways. The judge said that the disgusting things that John Barilaro was called in these videos amounted to racist hate speech. And he was very critical of Google in a number of ways, including that the tech giant had failed to apply its own policies regarding the prohibition of hate speech, cyberbullying and harassment.
And if this isn't even confusing enough, Friendly Jordies could be facing jail time from a completely unrelated case. In a completely different investigation, he basically implied that there's this gambling industry in Australia and they're involved in money laundering.
But perhaps the one thing even more humiliating than starting a beef with a YouTuber could be being one of the most powerful lobby groups in the country, Clubs New South Wales, the gambling lobby, and bringing criminal charges against a YouTuber and a whistleblower dying of cancer because they talked about money laundering in your venues. Come on. You can really get a clear idea of the caliber of an organization if they take an action like that.
Now, the reason why I give this like 17-part anime Avenger tier backstory any kind of context is because on the 17th of November, Friendly Jordy's neighbor's house was firebombed, and now recently, a couple days ago, his own house was firebombed.
In case you haven't heard, and the press did everything that they possibly could to make sure that you know exactly where I live.
Here on Wilga Street, because of who lives here out the back, YouTuber and political comedian Jordan Shanks.
Thank you very much, you vultures. My house was burned down to some degree. I don't know, I haven't seen it yet because I just came back from a tour. So we're going to go now and look at the damage. But yeah, it looks like it was some heavy hitters. There's obviously a few suspects that I might be divulging in a press conference soon.
Now, Friendly Jordy seems to think he knows who did it, but for the risk of a lawsuit or probably for his own safety, he doesn't want to directly name names. Now, this lawsuit's big enough, I don't want to get involved in it, but keep in mind, me mentioning the politicians earlier, I am not implying or saying that they're involved in this at all. It's simply to build context to the kind of content that Friendly Jordy's made. I mentioned it because we're basically at the season finale now, and, you know, context is everything. There's even this amazing bit where all the press come over to him, and instead of, like, you know, being somber or sad, you know, that his own home got arsoned, he just goes off on the press saying that they took the wrong side.
I would hope that the New South Wales strike force that is supposedly set up for fixated people and terrorists would be looking into this instead of a comedian and his team for 6 months straight at the whim of a previous premier that all of you defended for his last 10 years. And then when he came out, and even after all the New York stuff, you're still sitting there defending him now. I saw all of your articles today where you all wrote all of the same little narrative that you write every time. I would hope that you would put just as much attention on the fact that that happened as you have on trying to assassinate my character over the last year. Thanks for your time.
Did something happen here a week ago, Jordan?
After checking back on his house, he went to the police station to give a statement, which took a couple hours. He's admitted now, unfortunately, that he is going to have to scale back his videos. The thing is with this guy, he could actually be in fear of his life, but the bravado he has is insane. He's talking so nonchalantly, and most people at this point, they'd be playing the sad music, crying, but he's still cracking jokes, even after everything that's happened.
And thanks to Clubs New South Wales for publishing your address in their court files, in their federal court files.
I forgot about that. See, this is
I don't think we can call them that.
Thank you honourable human beings that are representing a fine industry that is all above board. Thank you for not only trying to arrest me because we interviewed somebody else that was the subject of your endless harassment, but also for putting my address on your court documents. That really helped me out.
Yeah, I just saw this and wanted to talk about it. Please watch True Jordy's content, even if you're not an Aussie. He makes amazing stuff. His skits, his investigations, they're all great. I've been watching him for a while. He's a great guy.